Chris here at All Leeds TV. It's been a while. Bit of a live session. Are we back to having therapy sessions on day one of the championship? Excuse the prison behind me, it's the rabbits. Are we back to having therapy sessions day one, back in the championship? Probably. Certainly after that today, or certainly after that first half. Yeah, just not the best. But we'll break it down. So, closing the title. When are we going to fix this defence? It's just mental to me that we're still having these discussions about this defence. I'm trying to be a calmer, happier Chris this season, but it's failing miserably, to be honest. Failing miserably. It's just defensively shocking, as always. No surprises. Why should we be surprised? And what I don't understand is how many managers have we been through now where we're seeing the same defenders play the same poor football, the same poor positioning, the same flapping when the ball's in our box. Just no clear minds or anything, just really, really poor. That first goal, I've seen there's a picture doing the rounds on Twitter where it says basically, what could you fit in this space? And it's just, is it McDowd, their player on the left-hand side, who's just got the freedom of Ellen Road? Just bonkers. And obviously then it's just a scramble in the box and they score. I've seen people saying they think we deserve to win overall and all the rest of it. And I don't agree. I think a draw is a fair result. Cardiff came with a game plan and they executed that game plan. You don't have to create a lot against Leeds. This is the thing. You don't have to go out and attack Leeds. Just wait. And we'll give you the opportunities. And this is what's more frustrating than anything, right? We give you the opportunities. You don't have to be a great football team or go out with a massive attacking intent to get chances against us, to get a couple of goals against us. We gift you them. And we gifted both goals today again. Yeah, and I think it's Tash on the All Leeds TV chat. Yeah, and we have to have 100 chances to get one goal. Nothing changes. And I know it's, you've got to take factors into consideration on day one of a new season, a bit of ring rustiness and people still getting used to another manager's system and all the rest of it. Blah, blah, blah. We can have all the excuses under the sun, but at the end of the day, it's not good enough. Cardiff have improved since last season, I think. I'm not massively in the know, but I think they've improved. They've got a new manager and they've got a few new players in. So I think they've improved from their escape of not going down last season. But still, I think Cardiff have said themselves, the manager or whoever, that, top 10 is their aim this season. And a lot of Leeds fans think we should be bouncing straight back up. And, shouldn't we be beating teams like Cardiff at home if that's what we're going to do? It's not good enough. No, I mean, the second half, yes, it was attack against defence for the most part, but it's not like we created chance on chance on chance on chance on chance. There was a couple of chances, Nonto's shot was saved and bounced up onto the bar. I think Dan James had one that was going in the bottom corner that the keeper saved. Probably a couple of others as well. But we didn't have, their goalkeeper wasn't busy by any stretch. He didn't have loads and loads to do. So I think, just it was quite easy for Cardiff to defend for a lot of the game. Just we played a lot in front of them, and that's because of a lack of a number 9 and someone who can get, in the width of the goal, up against the defenders, nice and tall, nice and strong, and commit them when crosses come in. We couldn't cross the ball in today because we've got, 5 foot nothing Willie Gnonto in the middle. So and that's not his fault. He's a small lad, do you know what I mean? But it's just, I don't know, it's just poor. And I think, again, this is all stemming from pre-season. We've not done enough business. We started late because the ownership change, and then the manager coming in, the new manager, who I rate as well. I wasn't so sure when his name was being bandied around, but I think that was maybe a bit of snobbery on my behalf. Expecting not a big name because we've been relegated, but I do think he'll do a job. He seems to know what he's on about, and he's obviously got pedigree in this league as well. And he was never properly backed by Norwich when they got promoted. So, hearing his post-match interview today, at least he sounds like he knows what he's on about, and it's not just vibes FC, like Mr. Marsh or whoever else. It does feel like he's got a bit of a football brain about him. But yeah, just going back into the match, I think positives. Archie Gray and Ampadu in the middle, very, very solid, very good. Archie Gray's just going to be some footballer if he continues on this trajectory. So impressive. Some of his neat little turns, seems to read the game really well. Ampadu looks a decent buy at 7 million, I've got to say. Somerville in the second half, very good. I thought we looked stronger at the back once Charlie Creswell came on, and I don't understand why he's not starting. I don't get that. We also looked better when Byram came on, and I've been massively against the Byram signing. I know it's a free, and you look at him as a bit of a squad player, but it felt like a bit just like going backwards to me. But, on reflection today, when he came on, he made a difference. So fair play to him. I do think he should be on the right-hand side, because I think our current right back shouldn't be in the starting lineup. I've been quite vocal about that. I've said it for I don't know how long now. Tash can vouch for it. The last time I went to a game with her, I did nothing but get extremely irritated about the defensive positioning of our right back, and just how much joy the opposition team got down that side, because he just doesn't know what he's doing. Pascal Strout, from the player we saw, 3 seasons ago or whatever, to now is just, it's unbelievable. It's like the weight of the world's on his shoulders. For Mokanov, Drama's injured, I believe. I'm not sure how long it is for, etc. But for me, if that's longer term, Byram needs to be out to the right, and we need to sign a left back. But Leeds never sign left backs, and the one left back we have signed isn't a footballer. So we've got history in that position. But yeah, the two boys in the middle of the park, very impressive. Coops, bless him, he loves the football club, and it's hard to criticise Coops, but if you look on it on purely footballing ability, I just don't know if it's, a bit too much for him now. Lad looks like he's running in treacle, and I've always been a fan of Liam Cooper and his leadership and everything else, but we need players who can move around the pitch and be big and strong, and it feels like, unless Charlie's in there at centre-back, we haven't actually got anyone in there who's big and strong and can out-muscle people. Do you know what I mean? So for me, Charlie Creswell's got to be starting. The 4 up front weren't as impressive as they probably looked on paper before the game. But I think that's because they're all quite similar in the way they go about the game. Cine showed flashes. Somerville in the second half was very, very good. I agree, Paul Poveda looked decent when he came on, just a bit more direct and just wanted to beat his man. And, you can say it's a bit like Dan James with Poveda, that, you can criticise his decision-making when it comes to putting the ball in, but he came on as a sub, do you know what I mean? And it can sometimes be difficult to get into the game. But I thought he did well. Sonny Perkins should have been on earlier for me. I don't think it was a game for Joffy, because, again, he's another player who doesn't necessarily want to run in behind or stand up against the centre-backs. He wants to come in deep, get the ball, pass it off. And we already had a whole host of players on the pitch to do that. So, yeah, it's just a bit meh, isn't it, for the first game of the season at home after we've dropped back down to the Championship. I did say a draw before the game. I predicted a draw, for a few reasons. Our 16-man squad, first game of the season, bit of ring rustiness, still maybe a bit of a hangover from dropping down. But it doesn't excuse that first half and those defensive mistakes. Excuse the rabbit. Yeah, it doesn't excuse them. That first goal is just a horror show, but it's a horror show we should be used to. Genuinely, that picture that's doing the rounds on Twitter where you can't see another player apart from Meslier in the whole picture, apart from their left-sided player. And it just gave me Marsh vibes of, we run towards the goal. We don't need width. We run towards the goal. People are saying, Ayling followed Aaron Ramsey. He didn't need to follow Aaron Ramsey. Just cover your ground. Cover the width. It's just, he's caught out position so many times as Luke Ayling. It is. Paul's right. Pub league defending. It is pub league defending. It's so poor. And I agree, Mucker, it's a 2-season thing for me. I've predicted we finish 9th this season, and I get called pessimistic and all the rest of it. And I'd love to be proved wrong. I would love to be proved wrong and, see us bounce straight back up. But I just don't see it. I don't see it. So I've said 9th and build from there. Do you know what I mean? And it's a bit of a season, isn't it, if we do finish 9th? But I just don't see it. If we met 4 or 5 signings, I think Paul in his video earlier named a few of them. I'm not going to sit here and preach that I know lots about them all. I don't. I've been informed by the whole of the All Leeds TV gang that Pirro is a very good player. He scored 20+ goals for Swansea the last 2 seasons. And if we bring him in, he'll make a real difference. So I take their word for it. I don't think I've ever seen him play. So, but you've got to be half decent, right, to get 20 goals over 2 each season in the last 2 seasons in the Championship for who are, let's be honest, an average team in the Championship. Not shots fired, just a fact. So, and there's other players, but we've got to strengthen. And for me, the most important area is that defence. Because it's been like this year on year. We leaked goals left, right and centre for the last 2 seasons in the Premier League, like disgustingly bad. And I think some people thought, well, we're dropping back down to the Championship now, so we won't leak goals. We will leak goals when you're defensively that inept. And we are defensively inept. It's just blind madness. I mean, I'm not sure for the second goal if Melié's in, a bit to blame as well, potentially. I haven't seen it back since he scored it. I haven't watched highlights since, but for me, he shouldn't be starting anyway. I think he wants to go by the sounds of it. Hopefully someone comes in for him and buys him. For me, Darlow should be starting in net. So yeah, it's just a bit of a nightmare at the back. And I think it needs, a new right back or Drama to be fit. Byron can go there. We definitely need a left back. Whether Byron can play there or not, we need a left back who can do a job there. A left-footed left back. And for me, we probably need 2 centre-backs. Another left-footed centre-back. And if they come in another decent quality, I'll be playing them next to Charlie Creswell at right centre-back. And that would be me at the back. Ampadu and Archie, wicked. Really, 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 really strong. Just really impressed with them both. And they seem to get each other right. I know from what I've heard, I haven't seen too much of pre-season, but they were pretty good together in pre-season. They seem to have built up a bit of a relationship. We know potentially, unless he goes, Tyler Adams to come back in there as well. So I think we're covered there. We're covered on the wings like we're always covered on the wings. It always feels like we've got 353 players who can play on the wing. We need a number 10. We probably need one more midfielder who can be combative as well and get stuck in, but we need a number 10, someone to unlock doors, especially when teams are coming like Cardiff today and sticking to a game plan and making it hard for us, solid banks, all the rest of it. And that's not me throwing shade at Cardiff. I'll keep it 100. That's not me throwing shade. That's Cardiff coming with a game plan and getting something out of it. And will consider themselves unlucky to only go away with a point. Right? They'll consider themselves unlucky. Some of our fans consider us unlucky that we didn't walk away with 3 today because of that second half. But Cardiff will feel unlucky that they didn't walk away with 3. So, swings and roundabouts. And we need, we need a number 9. Again, this sentiment FC, old guard mentality. These players have done jobs for us in the past. But name me another football team that clings on to players who did a job 2-3 seasons ago and be like, oh yeah, but they did a job for us once. No other teams do that. They ship them out. When the time's done, the time's done, and they sell them on, and they bring fresh blood in. How many times did we, when you hear managers talk around, even if you're top of the league, you've got to freshen the squad year on year. You've got to keep it fresh. You've got to keep people being challenged in every position. Luke Ayling's had pretty much a free pass for 3-4 seasons now at right back. He must almost think it doesn't matter how bad I am. It doesn't want to be bad. I'm not saying that. But you must go in with that mentality of it. It doesn't overly matter because I'm not going to play again next week, and that's not a good mentality to have in anything. You need to feel challenged and you've got to bring your A game every week. So yeah, just disappointed. That's the best word I can come up with. It's not very inventive, I know, but just disappointed. Darren, I don't agree about the pens, mate. I think we were still in Premier League mode and throwing ourselves to the ground a little bit too easily. You're not going to get those in the Championship, especially with the new rules around penalties, where just because there's contact doesn't mean it's a penalty. So I don't think we should have had a couple of pens at all. But, differing opinions in it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. That's just my view on it. So we've got to strengthen this squad, probably 5 or 6 players in the next 4 weeks. For me to then sit here and look at the calibre of what we sign on top of what we've got and say, okay, we can make a real push to potentially go back up. At the minute, for me, it's top of mid-table in the Championship. Would be a very Leeds thing just to finish 13th, wouldn't it? It's what we used to do back in the day, back in the good old days. So, yeah, and Gary, you're right. We don't like referring to scum, do we, and talking about them, and certainly not praising them. And old Whiskey knows they're, their old manager, but he said it, and he used to do it. He'd ship players out. They'd be riding high, dominating the Premier League, and he'd ship players out, top players, and bring others in, freshen it up. So, it is what it is. And I am bored of Leeds United being Sentiment FC. And that goes for some of the fans as well. You go online still, and you can't even criticise some of these old guard players' performances. I'm not saying going at people personally. That's not what it's about. Anyone that does that's probably just got a weak argument anyway. But going at critiquing them for something that they get paid thousands of pounds a week to do, and they consistently do it badly, and you go on and critique the performance, and you'll get ripped apart by some fans still saying, oh, legend. None of these players in this team are legends. People need to go away and, read up the word legend before throwing it around like that. None of these players are legends. They've been great servants for the club. Some of them, took us to promotion, took us to 9th in the Premier League the first season back, all the rest of it. But legends, not for me. So what do I think today about Byron? I thought Byron was good when he came on. Surprised me how effective he was and how much better we looked with him there. So fair play to him. I just hope he can stay fit because we know he's injury prone and we've got enough of them already. And Gnonto, flashes of, what we know Willie Gnonto can do, but not enough for me. So, yeah, I saw that Pablo was in the crowd. I was itching for him to go grab a pair of boots and have a go, to be honest, because we could have done with someone with his sort of guile and flair on the ball today just to unlock that defence. But yeah, I'm bored of the same old defending all the time. Teams not having to work hard to score against us. Just bide your time, defend your box, and Leeds will give you an opportunity or two at some point through just lackluster defending, lack of concentration, just being not good enough as a player, whatever it may be. But you can guarantee that Leeds will give you the opportunities. And this league is ruthless. People say, teams need 1,000 chances to score. They didn't today. We did. They didn't. I think they had 2 shots on target and scored 2 goals. Formula Sonny, mate, it's a tough one. I can't get on board with Charlie Taylor coming back just because of the way he left. And I know that might be a bit, hypocritical of me almost, with Sentiment FC and all the rest of it. But, everyone makes mistakes and, should be given second chances. But if he came back and did a job, do you know what I mean? I'd soon get over myself. That's probably what I'll say. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to shout him down or anything if he came back, because at the end of the day, he's going to put the shirt on again, and a player, well, they've got the shirt on for that 90 minutes, get supported. They'll get screamed at when they make mistakes, but they get supported generally. So, it is what it is. I don't know who will sign Gary. I'm not in the know at all with this stuff. I'm not. There's some of our crew on All Leeds TV that are far more sort of in the know or listen to the whisperings. I think if we did sign Nat Phillips, I think he's a decent addition. Is he a long-term solution? Probably not. But for seasoned coming back, or first season back in the Championship, so sorry, a comment's just distracted me. He might do a job. Is All Leeds TV becoming all negative TV? It's game 1 of 46. But yeah, but I'm talking about today's game. I can't reflect over 46 games. I'm reflecting on a single game. So, and it wasn't good enough. You're telling me it was, Carl? You're telling me you're happy to ship 2 goals like that to Cardiff? This is a post-match reaction, not a post-season reaction or anything else. Post-match. So I'm giving you my thoughts. And yours might be different, mate, and that's fair enough, but it is what it is. So, yeah, we'll see. I've not heard anything about Liam Cooper. The fact he had to be hopped onto a stretcher doesn't look good. If ankles go, especially if it's the ligaments that have gone, because it did look like he turned it funny, then it's a few weeks. It's a few weeks if it's ligament damage at least. Somerville's goal did paper over the cracks for a lot of people. I agree. If it finishes 2-1, there's a lot more, not anger. It is still game 1, not anger, but a lot more disappointment and concern around the squad and how it looks. So it was a good header. It was nice to see us score from a set piece and for a defender to go up and attack the ball, because normally we stand there looking like a bunch of wallies from set pieces. Just gawping at the ball as it flies around. So it was nice to see Coops get up and attack the ball like that. So it was that was good. It's just a pity he landed heavily and funnily on that leg, and it didn't look like it was due to contact. I think it was just he came down a bit funny. So it happens. It's, you know what I mean. It's not great, but I think it's almost time up for Coop, certainly as a starter, and that I do say that with a slightly heavy heart because of the way he's led this club for so long. I've got a lot of time for Liam Cooper. I don't agree with a lot of the hate he's got over the years, but again, it's time for fresh blood. This Sentiment FC stuff, it is time for fresh blood, and defensively we can all see the issues. So surely Daniel Farker looking at that today can go, oh my God, this defence is atrocious. I need 2 or 3 defenders in before the end of the window. So yeah, that's my sort of thoughts. Just the real positive was those 2 boys in the middle of midfield. Archie Gray with some lovely little turns out of danger. He wasn't perfect, and Daniel Farker said as much. Positionally, sometimes being a little bit caught out, but he's 17. You forgive it when someone's 17. Do you know what I mean? He's still learning his craft. You don't forgive it when someone's 31 and been doing this for a long, long time and is still as useless as they've ever been with their defensive positioning. And Ampadu looks every bit the type of player we've needed. So that's a good bit of business for 7 million. But we just need some more strength in depth in most areas, apart from the wings. But there's no point having 300 wingers if you haven't got any centre forwards to go and attack the ball. Bamford for me is done. When he does get fit, he gets injured again immediately. And let's be honest, it's been a long time since Patrick's regularly put the goals away. You can put that down to him not staying fit long enough to be match fit, but whatever it may be, he's not the answer anymore for me. Sadly, Reuter's still an unknown quantity. We don't know what we're going to get out of him, and he's not really an out-and-out striker. He's probably more outside forward, inside winger, whatever you want to call it. And we need a number 10. We never replaced Samu Saiz when he went, and then we lost Pablo as well. And so we haven't replaced either of them with anyone creative who can just, when games are tight and defences and midfields are packed in, we've got no one to unlock it at the minute. You know, Sini's great on the ball. He's an absolute baller, Sinistera. Obviously, he's an injury worry as well. Another one who's an injury worry because he tends to be injury prone. And on his day, he's levels. You know, Gnonto on his day is levels. But are they players who have got that bit of guile, you know, to just slip the ball through the tightest of spaces at exactly the right pace, like what Pablo used to do, or have a look over the shoulder before the ball gets to you, like Pablo did. I think it was against, I want to say Derby for Jack Harrison. Just launch one over the top because he saw Jack on the move. Have we got any players that do that at the minute? Not for me. So there's work to be done. What would my next steps be? Well, we need a good result in the cup against Shrewsbury, and not a tends to be a Leeds performance in the League Cup of a scrappy late 2-1 win or something. We've got to go out and get some confidence and put 3 or 4 past them. No news on. I've not heard anything on Dallas. I don't know if he's on the pitch or what. Sorry, guys, I've not heard anything. Saiz fucking behaved. Saiz on his day was a baller. He was an idiot, but he was a baller. He could unlock defences. Let's think back to the first goal of the Marcelo Bielsa era and his pass through to Clicky. Don't hate on him for his footballing ability. He was a plank, but he was a baller on his day. But no, nothing new on Dallas. I've not heard anything. Again, I genuinely, gang, haven't paid much attention in pre-season or close season to anything about Leeds United. I've been out being a really poor version of Tiger Woods. I've been out being a really poor version of Charlie Woods, his 14-year-old son, if I'm being honest. But I keep trying. It's good for me, apparently. I do a lot of walking from tree line to tree line across fairways, so it's all good. It just does feel, it feels like we buy players at the minute, or we've just seemed to bring players in who we're just going to keep the medical staff happy, doesn't it? It's such a strange one, is this club. We've always got an injury list as long as our arm. So yeah, it's Stuart is getting fitness up. It's on the field in match play, which he hasn't got to yet. Okay, thanks, Alison. See, Alison knows. She keeps her ear to the ground. So we're probably looking at maybe sometime after the first international break, depending on how far that is. But what Stuart Dallas are we going to get back as well after all this time off? Will he be the same Stuart Dallas? We don't know. So again, it's high risk, isn't it? You know, if Rads was still here and people were screaming at him for a new midfielder or a new left back, you know what he'd be doing right now on Twitter? He'd be like, Stuart Dallas, like he did before, sure. But for me, because I've not addressed this in the close season, the jury's very much out on the 49ers. For me, they've been here a long time. I know the new chairman addressed this in an interview when the takeover was done. And he said, you know, he was very much a backseat driver and just keeping an eye out and learning. But I don't like this group of investor type thing. You know, all these different people, including all these sports stars who have got a little bit, inverted commas, a little bit of money in it. I don't like this investor type situation. What happens if things don't go well and people start wanting the money back out of it, or, you know, things do go well and then the money that they put in is worth an awful lot more money, and then do they see a ceiling and then go, right, I want my money out? Feels like dangerous games to me, does that. But this is where we're at. We can't affect that. I just hope they've seen enough to get today to go, yeah, if we want to make money on our investment and get promoted, then we need to put some money in and get this done. So Alison says he's still not even kicking a ball. You know, if he's not even kicking a ball yet, we might even be looking at around Christmas time, maybe. And then even when he gets to that stage, we're not going to rush him back. This is Dallas I'm on about. So could still be a long old time before we see Stuart Dallas, a match fit Stuart Dallas flying again for Leeds. And I hope he does come back flying, because he was unbelievable for us, especially that first season up. You know, who can forget his goals against City at their place and stuff like that. So, yeah, absolute baller. Gives everything for the club. Gave, like he's bloody dropped dead or something. Gives everything for the club and gets Leeds. So I'd love him to come back and be the same Stuart Dallas before he got what we had before he got injured. But you never know, do you? Yeah, I just wonder what was going through Parag's mind today, sitting and watching that when he was in the stand. Because, you know, if you take the second half in isolation, you could just be like, well, we battered him. And I think that's what a lot of people have walked away from the ground today thinking, or have turned the telly off thinking, we battered him. But we didn't batter them. It was attack. It was like a training exercise, attack versus defence. But the keeper wasn't mad busy. I can't sit here and think of 5-6 mega saves that he made. He made 2 that I can remember. One from Gnonto, which went up onto the bar, and the one from Dan James. And that's it. That's all I can think of. And there might be other ones, don't get me wrong. But I can't think of them off the top. So, yeah, we didn't batter them. We had a lot of possession, 70, 71%, something like that. All the rest of it. And this is the other thing while we're talking about the new owners. And thank you, Muck and Orf, for reminding me. They're not all gone yet, the old guard in the boardroom either. And, you know, a transition to a new owner for a company or a brand or a club or whatever does need to be gradual, but it needs to be done now. And I'm not just talking about the CEO. I'm talking about others up there as well. Make the change, put the right people in the right positions. Praga said he's going to do it. He's going to bring people in to do all these different jobs. Let's crack on and do it. And let's get some players in. Because it feels like we're still hungover. 1 from relegation and 2 from the previous ownership. And it feels like it needs to be a slate clean type situation for me personally. So, yeah. I know I'm waffling all over the place here, and at 1 minute I'm talking about the match and then the rest of it. But like I said, I've been quiet this summer. I've said nothing about it. I've kept my thoughts to myself, etc., etc. So I'm just unloading now. So apologies for being a bit all over the place and a bit ranty. But yeah, just it's nice to be back on All Leeds TV though. It's been a while. I did consider jumping ship. Not because of anything with the gang, but last season burnt me out. I'll be truly honest. I didn't want to talk about Leeds. I didn't want to talk about football. I didn't want to watch it. Watching it was painful. So, you know, I was like, can I do this anymore? Where I try and come on straight after a game and be like, nah, and you know, upbeat or whatever it may be, or have a rant. I didn't even want to rant about it. I was like, I'm so done with it. I'm bored with it. So, yeah. But, you know, this is the problem with Leeds United. You can't stay away from it as much as you want to. Runs through us, right? I almost wish it didn't. And if, you know, like you see some people out there who go, yeah, I'm a so-and-so fan, I'm a this fan. But, how did they get on at the weekend? No, I don't know. I don't really pay any attention. I almost wish I could be one of those fans where it didn't bother me. But, you know, some nights with this club, it bloody haunts me. So, yeah, it is nice to be back. I wish I was back on, you know, it's a draw. It's a point on the board. It's a draw from coming from 2-0 down. So you have got to look at the positive side, the fact that they stuck to it. We managed to get the goals to get it back to 2-2. I was a bit, not miffed, agitated with Cree when he scored, you know, shirt off or into the corner. I get the emotion and all the rest of it. But again, for someone, you know, elite level who considers them top of the game, themselves, the top of the game, I'm not saying I do, but my first thought surely would be, if I was in that position, go get that ball, get it back to the centre circle and let's go for the win. And that might seem a bit, you know, nitpicking, but it was just what I thought at the time. So I thought I'd say it. I was a bit like, get your shirt on and get back to the centre circle. Let's go again. But, you know, we got it back to 2-2. It was a good finish from Somerville because the ball was slightly behind him as well. So I thought it was a very, very accomplished finish. As was Coops's, very different, but still very accomplished with the way he went in there. I agree with you, Sonny. Everything in that game reminded me of Jesse Marsh. Go 2-0 down or whatever it is, and then just play sort of. It wasn't mad and frantic today. You could see what they were trying to do, but it was just not fully clicking. Yeah, no, I get you. I completely get you. It wasn't 100% Mad Marsh vibes, but I get the similarities that you're sort of on about. Okay, Mikey. Fair enough, Mikey. Had a message on his top for a friend who died. It's different. Some things bigger than football. Fair enough. I didn't realise that. So I'll keep my grid shut about that. Fair enough. Still wish he'd maybe taken his shirt off while running back to the centre circle and pointed at it. But hey ho, small matters. So yeah, we move on. We've got Shrewsbury midweek in the cup. So we'll see. But that's got to be a 3 or 4-0 for me. It has. We've got to just get some confidence. We've got to get some confidence. You know, players like, for me, Byram starts, Pervader starts. Defence is difficult because with Cooper now out, I wouldn't want to risk Charlie Creswell midweek, but I think he'll play him. Maybe, is it Montero? Someone like that. I don't know. I don't know. No, yeah, definitely JB as well. I don't know what's happening with that lad. I think he's a proper baller. I don't understand why he didn't get more game time last season. Never mind, get any today. He was on the bench, wasn't he? Off the top of my head. And if he wasn't, then I don't know why he wasn't. But yeah, it's just, I just feel a bit deflated by it. But we do need 4 or 5 players in, maybe more. And if we bring them in and they're of decent quality and they hit the ground running, then, in 2, 3, 4 weeks, I might have a very different attitude to all this. But it just feels like a bit of a mid-table mediocrity this season. And I know it's only one game, but again, we say it's only one game, but it's been 3, 4 seasons now where that defence has been horrendous. So it's not just one game. It's the same habits by the same players, and these same players still getting game time because we haven't brought anyone in to replace them. So, yeah, and it will take time for them to get used to the manager's style of play. I completely agree with that. It will. So there has got to be a little bit of time, but that's another reason why, I think potentially this season is a build and go again. Maybe we sneak playoffs. We've not got the greatest history in them. So, we might finish top 2. We might. It's game 1. Do you know what I mean? And again, if we recruit well and the players click and we know Farker can do it in this league. He's done it twice. So we know he can do it, but there's a lot of factors that come into whether it happens, right? So we shall see. We shall see. What time we're on? 20 past 11. How long have we been on for this new system, Tash, honestly? I can't tell. Don't matter. Not bothered. I'll finish when I've finished waffling. So, yeah, maybe we'll look back in 3, 4 games' time and things might have not improved, but we might have a lot more points on the board and we might be like, actually, it's an all right point, is that now? Or if things don't go so well, we're looking and going, oh, Jesus, not another season like this. I was at was it Everton at home, the first game of the second season in the Premier League. I was at the game, and I wasn't at the game today. I was watching it on the telly, but the way the game went and panned out, it felt very much the same as that. And we know how that season went. We never got going. And again, a lot of the same players are still in and around the fold. These scars are still there. And again, this is why you have turnover in football clubs and you bring new players in and you sell players on. The one player we probably got rid of in recent times that we shouldn't have is Clicky. Shout out to Clicky for his trolling of Max Vober as well. Very nice. Enjoyed that very much. So, yeah, and I do agree with Coops' apparent sentiment at the end of last season that if you don't want to be here, just don't come back. Don't give us the fans the party lines as well. We're not stupid fans. You know, I completely agree, Sonny. Weak mentalities. It is weak. A lot of it is mental, whether that is staying switched on for 90 minutes or, you know, just not having that deep down fire in the belly to go out and affect something. Yeah, that was it, Paul. 2-2, yeah, Click and Rafinha scored, and it just had a lot of the same vibes. And I don't know if it's because the scoreline's the same, but it just felt like the game went a similar way. So yeah, just like I said, just a bit deflated by it. And, you know, we shake it off and we go again. I've been not deflated all summer, because that'd be really sad, wouldn't it? But I've been deflated about football the whole summer, like in like the All Leeds TV chat groups and stuff. I've just been like, I don't fucking care. Probably come a bit pessimistic and all the rest of it, but I just didn't care through the summer. I was like, whatever. And then, you know, day one comes and I'm like, tell you I'm fired up all of a sudden. But then, like, oh, here we go. Excellent. Got me all excited for that. So it's we'll see. And I'm sure it will come good. I just think it might come properly good next season, but I'm here to be proven wrong, and I'd be happy to be proven wrong. So yeah, I'll probably leave it there, gang. So appreciate everyone at this late hour. I did plan to come on earlier, but we've changed all the streaming platforms we use, and I couldn't log into them. So Tash has done me a solid tonight and got me logged on them all, which is why I'm on late. So I appreciate you all tuning in at this mad hour, and the fact we've had over 100 people in now coming up to 11:30 at night shows that this game's probably done a few people's heads in, because people lay awake thinking about it. So have a good night. Have a good week next week. Fingers crossed for a positive result in the cup, and we go again next week in the league. Appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. There's plenty of us around. We've got Paul Wilson on board now this season. So another new presenter there. Paul, again, another one who bleeds Leeds. So a different opinion and different aspect to listen to, which is all good, because this game is all about opinions. We don't all agree all the time, even in the chat. We don't all agree all the time. It is what it is. We've got Mike smashing it on the socials. Scott, he'll still be appearing from time to time. And then obviously the OGs, Tash, Jack, Oscar, Phil, still doing big match previews. If I've forgotten anyone, Rhiannon will still be appearing. Hannah, Jesus Christ. My Christmas card list is getting long. It's a lie. I don't like Christmas, so I don't do Christmas cards before Tasha jumps in the chat. So yeah, keep it locked here. We'll try and do you a solid this season and keep you company as best we can. You'll get different people, different weekends. I can't be on every weekend now, sadly. I've got loads of different things going on. And like I said, I'm also trying to become Clack Eaton's version of Tiger Woods. So yeah, I might have to be on the golf course an awful lot. So thanks for tuning in, gang. I'll catch you later. I'm going to go lay and stare at the ceiling in the bedroom and sulk that Leeds United again have once again disappointed me. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch you later. Cheers. Bye.